have a quick question for everyone. What happens when someone doesn't drive anymore? Do they still need to go to doctor's appointments, um, physical therapy? Maybe they just want to go visit a friend. For many families, this simple question becomes a real challenge. I'm Anna Gurley, along with Aaron Smith. We're with eXp Realty, the Aaron Smith team. We are excited to talk with Tammy Bravo with Express Mobile Transportation, a local company that specializes in getting people where they need to go with comfort and safety and with dignity. Welcome, Tammy.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Aaron.
Hey, what's up, Tammy?
Yeah. Hey, let's start off with how did Express Mobile Transportation get started, and what made you decide to work with seniors and people with mobility challenges?
We started in November of 2018 with 2 wheelchair vans. And the idea came to me through having to help out my in-laws, who unfortunately both were terminally ill at the same time. So we had a lot of doctor's visits to make, and having our own business, it was tricky getting them to doctor's appointments and getting back to their living facilities. And one day I was at a doctor's appointment and saw a service drop off a senior citizen for an appointment. And I went, well, we're already in transportation. I think we could do this. So that's where it all came from. And now from 2018, we're up to 14 cars. So we've grown that quickly. So it's the fastest growing generation, the baby boomers. And we're seeing more and more demand of getting people transported to and from their doctor's appointments, from family events such as weddings and funerals, or just a Christmas outing or Thanksgiving outing. We've done those moves also, but primarily to doctor's appointments, medical appointments, and discharges from hospitals.
Okay, so basically it's a non-medical service. Would that be right?
Non-emergency, yes.
Okay.
As long as the person is healthy and they can be moved by wheelchair, we will do that. We ask a lot of questions when the call taker comes in to set up the appointment, so that we know, for example, the patient, what is their condition? Are they able to sit in the wheelchair by themselves? Are they able to hold themselves up? Do they have any mental issues such as Alzheimer's or dementia? So we go through a big list of questions so that the driver's prepared when they arrive as to what type of patient they're going to be moving, because that'll depend on, the restraint. Sometimes we'll put an extra harness on the patient in the wheelchair so that they don't slip in the wheelchair because they can't hold themselves up. But if it's a Alzheimer's or dementia patient, if they're combative or easily shook, we'll ask for a guardian to ride along with that patient for the safety of the patient and the driver.
Mm.
So what does that conversation look like if I am working on getting transportation for, let's just say, my mom or dad,
Mm-hmm.
and I reach out to you guys? What what is the most common cause for somebody to reach out to you?
Is mostly that they're wheelchair bound and they don't have the wheelchair vehicle to move them, and they can't be moved from the wheelchair to a regular seat in a car. So they need our particular vehicle for that. And a lot of times, like for example, the hospital discharges, it could be that the patient doesn't have a family member to come get them and bring them home. So the hospital calls and says, we need them moved back to their facility or back to their home. And they, of course, don't drive. So we do that move too.
Sure.
Yeah, and I'm guessing, so I know that there's some public transportation services, I think local transit authorities and things like that, but you guys are special in the case that you work specifically with the seniors or the wheelchair bound to get them from place to place, and it's a little bit more hand holding, a little bit more care for the patient or for the client
It
than
is.
just rolling them on and just hitting the road, right? You actually
Right. And
put some
and when
effort
you're
into it.
working with Tank or any of those state funded services, it'll be multiple passengers in the vehicle where we're more a personalized service where it's one-on-one, it's the driver and the passenger, and that's it. We only have one passenger we're moving unless they have a guardian with them.
Sure. So if I'm, an adult child and I want to be informed as to like when you're picking somebody up, when you're dropping them off, how do you relay that communication so that everybody has peace of mind about their loved one?
Once the transportation is scheduled, that confirmation is sent by email to the scheduler and to the family member, so they are aware of the time of the pickup. We also have our vehicles are equipped with GPS and video monitoring. So if a family member calls saying, I'm at the doctor's office, but you're not here, we can pull that car up and tell them exactly where that car is and provide an ETA for that car. We can also look at the video to make sure that the passenger's there and they're safe and they're secured. And that now, a lot of times, if we get, especially in Florence, we could get caught in traffic. The driver will call and say, we're caught in traffic. We can look it up on the GPS and we can call the facility or call the family member and give them a new ETA and make them aware that this is where your passenger is.
Sure. That would give great peace of mind. That's a lot of communication.
It is. And we can do that.
And you mentioned Florence. Obviously, those of us who are local to Northern Kentucky, we know that Highway 42 can get busy and all
Right.
that. What is your geographic area that you guys typically cover? Because our market is Northern Kentucky. We want families in Northern Kentucky to get to know you
Mhm.
guys. What's your range?
We travel as far as Maysville and Owington in Kentucky, and then we travel as far north as Kettering and Dayton. So, again, price wise, the further out you travel, the more expensive it's going to be, but we do provide the services in those areas.
Sure. So with that said, then your service is private pay.
It is private pay. We do not collect insurance. We do provide receipts that you can provide to your insurance company and get reimbursement on your own through that process. But no, we're strictly private pay.
If my family member has regular attended things, let's just say that they go somewhere twice a week or they go somewhere
Mhm.
once a week, this can be a scheduled thing where it's the same driver every week. They're comfortable with their driver, or is that
You
something?
can you can make that request for the same driver, and we have had those requests. We try our best to provide that, but at this time with 14 cars and hopefully 14 drivers on shift, we can make that work. But sometimes it's just the luck of the draw. But we have a tremendous team. I mean, these drivers are just thoroughly trained. They're very personable. They understand that most of the time this is this patient's only day out that month. So they make a real effort to make it an enjoyable trip. I always like to share the story of when we first started, one of my drivers, he was out for a bit and I'm like, where in the world have you been? And he came back, he said, I hope you don't mind, but she really wanted to see some Christmas lights. So I just drove her through Fort Thomas so we could look through for some Christmas lights. And then then she wanted to go through White Castle. So I went through White Castle and got her a White Castle, and then I took her home. And I thought, you know what, if that's the extra effort you made, I said, the only problem I have with it is maybe we should check on the dietary restrictions. But
Oh,
if she wanted one White Castle, then that's fantastic. And he just made her Christmas. So
I love
oh,
it.
I bet it
yeah.
did. I bet it did. So, like, what is it that you wish more people knew about your service?
Um, that when you're using our service, if I want to compare it to a rideshare service, what I would suggest is that you thoroughly vet the service you're going to use. Number one, are they commercially insured? A lot of these rideshare services are not commercially insured. For example, we're insured up to a $5 million per occurrence. That's a big policy, and you can request the certificate of insurance from us for proof. I would ask, how are your drivers trained?
Mhm.
Are they are they trained in defensive driving? For example, our drivers go through a thorough wheelchair lockdown training. They go through how to enter the car and come out of the car with the wheelchair. They're trained by the J.J. Keller and the Smith system in defensive driving. And then they are also put through a national background check system to make sure there are no criminal records. And then they're put through DOT physicals. So that's a Department of Transportation physical, so that they're healthy and you're, riding with a healthy person. And we also put them through random drug and alcohol screening. So they're automatically screened when they're hired for drug and alcohol, but then they're in a random pool, and I can send them at any time for a drug and alcohol test in that pool, just to confirm that we have a safe driver. So those are some of the things I would ask when booking. I would also ask, what's the age of your vehicles? For example, our vehicles, we try to keep them no longer than 5 to 6 years and bring in new vehicles. We go through a regular maintenance schedule with our vehicles. Our vehicles are all cleaned here on site by our detailing team of sanitizing them and cleaning them after each evening, so that, we're trying to keep down as much as we can any germs that could transfer to a patient. So those are some of the things I would ask if I was booking for a service.
I never would have thought to even, in today's age, it's 2025. We're about to be in 2026 here.
Uh-huh.
Ride sharing is second nature to a lot of us, and we just
Yes.
hop in a car with a stranger. We don't even think about it. And yeah, when we're having somebody care for a loved one, or if we're having somebody drive us where there's more medical need, or they're in a wheelchair, it's good to vet them out.
It is.
However, asking questions about defensive driver training, like that's you just assume people know how to drive, but it sounds like you guys are
Mhm.
like the Swiss Army knife of drivers. That's pretty
We
awesome.
are. We have a GPS system that we have in our fleet that will throw a flag to my safety director saying this driver's exceeding the speed limit. Now, if it's 5 miles, we're not going to do anything. But if we see there's a driver that's 10 to 15 miles, my safety trainer is on the phone. He's buzzing them, going, take your foot off the pedal. What's going on? Why is the speed at this? So we're constantly watching. It sounds a little big brother, but when you're looking at the safety of passengers, especially seniors, it's important. And we don't, and I say that, giving that example, we have very rare occurrences of a driver doing that. They know we're watching.
Well, you have systems in place, and I think
Yes,
just the fact that you have that in place, even if you've not had that many, just the fact that it's in place should give customers comfort, should let me know, hey, my family member or I personally, if I'm calling you guys to drive me around, like I'm in good hands here.
exactly.
I feel like I'm being taken care of. That's pretty awesome.
I think the most important question is the service insured? And what plan are they insured with? Is it commercial? Because if it's a personal plan, a private home plan, that's not going to cover that passenger. There should
That's
be
true.
commercial insurance.
Mhm.
Anna, do you have any more questions for Tammy?
Oh, just what you said, I think that would also give like family members just the confidence knowing that their family members being well taken care of, and that you've done all of this vetting and have all these other, like Aaron said, systems in place. That's just incredible and amazing. So
Right.
I'm wondering, do you operate 7 days a week?
We do 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
Wow.
Yeah. And then we're not 24 hours, but our other service is 24 hours, but this service is probably a 15-hour service, depending on the time of day. We're usually out as early as 6 a.m. and probably the latest we're out is 8 p.m. But if it's a party or something that we drop the passenger to, we'll keep the driver on the schedule and they can pick them up at 9 or 10 o'clock at night. But we found that most of our seniors are finished by 8 and they want to go home. So, mhm.
The street lights are on.
That's right. That's right.
That's the way we grew up. It's exactly.
right?
The street lights go on,
Time to
you get
come
up and go
home.
home. That's right.
Right.
That's great. I mean, I just love the fact that you have this wonderful service that's available for seniors and, people that do have mobility issues. The fact that you
Mhm.
have the wheelchair accessibility in your vans, I'm sure that's just a big deal for a lot of people.
It is. And when we're talking about services, we do have another service that hasn't gained traction quite yet, but we're testing it. And I call it the point-to-point service. So if you're not wheelchair bound, but you no longer can drive, we will provide a service where the car can come pick you up, take you to the grocery store, take you to the drugstore, take you to the bank, wherever you might need to go. We do have that service. It's again a service that we're testing and trying to see, how many people out there are willing to or need the service, I should say. And we'll see where that plays out.
Sure. Would your driver wait while someone did their grocery shopping?
They can, and that again would be a wait time. It's probably more cost efficient if you schedule a pickup time. So if
Oh,
you're grocery shopping and then that driver can go do another trip, and
mm,
then we might send another driver to retrieve you from the grocery store. But if you're having a driver wait, there is a cost factor in that wait time.
well,
Yeah.
it sounds like you're making a difference in people's day-to-day life to be able to get out and do all these activities. It's
And
great.
yeah, and I think I always like to share the story of, I think a lot of it is our professionalism in our drivers. I mean, they're always in a tie and a shirt. And you're not going to have a driver picking you up in a ball cap and a t-shirt and shorts. And I had a family member once call and ask, "Are you the car service that has the drivers who wear the ties? Because that's who my mom wants me to book." And so that we kind of been tagged with that. And it just makes, I think, the passenger feel safer that this person is uniformed and professional.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that definitely sets you guys apart. And it's a cool service, and I can't wait to work with you guys more and talk to
Yeah.
you and kind of hear more stories about. I love the one that you told about the Christmas lights and taking her to get some White Castle, and it shows that you guys have a human element. It's not just
Yes.
pick you up, kick you out on the curb, and go. Like you care for your people enough to listen to them, and I think
Right.
that's huge.
A lot of our drivers that we have are retired from professional careers and they're just looking for something extra to do. And, I had one particular driver that came to me and he said, "This is probably the most rewarding thing I've ever done. I don't need to work, but I really enjoy being a part of this and, giving some happiness to these seniors that are in these centers." So,
How
Fantastic.
would if I'm looking for you online and I need to set up a time to talk about your services and how it might apply to me, how would we go about finding you?
you can just Google Express Mobile Transportation. And you can also just call our direct line, which I'm going to read 859-655-4600. And our staff is here 24 hours a day and always available to answer any questions. We encourage you, because we stay so busy, to at least, if you know you have an appointment, try to make that booking 72 hours prior.
Mhm.
We will take an appointment. We will take a booking 12 hours if we have an opening. We have a lot of times the hospital calling saying, "Hey, I have this discharge." If we can work it in, we do. There's never a guarantee because we stay with a pretty tight book schedule. Those cars are rolling all day long.
Yeah,
So
that's
Well,
quite the
the
service.
sooner the better. Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
love it. Love
Make
it.
a,
Quite the
make a
service.
plan. Right.
All right. Well, thanks so much for
Oh,
talking with us
thank you
today. I
both.
mean, you're so full of information. And
Yeah.
man, I think if I ever need a ride, I'll call you.
Oh, thank you. Well, we do have our other side of our company, which has the black car and SUV service. So if, and if motor coaches, if you have a group that needs to go to Keeneland or wherever, we have, 54 passenger motor coaches. We can do that too.
That's
A
awesome.
little bit of
It's
everything.
not just for people who are wheelchair bound. You can schedule a shuttle or a transportation,
Yes.
however. So I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you have a group of seniors that want to go on a little road trip, we've done that too before. We usually have group leaders that'll coordinate that, and they'll call us. And we just finished taking some seniors up the East Coast on a motor coach to see the fall foliage.
Oh,
Yeah.
super nice.
So yeah. So we have a lot of different services we offer.
Awesome. Well, we will drop your contact information, your website, and phone number in the notes for the show.
Perfect.
And we hope that the local families here in Northern Kentucky reach out to you because, again, another awesome service that cares about the seniors here. So thank you.
Right. Thank you,
Well,
Aaron. It was nice meeting you. Thank you, Anna.
you're welcome.
Good to see you again.
Mhm.
We'll see you at the next senior meeting.
Yes.